Welcome everybody to our ORC Fall Winter 2025 update. Let me go ahead and share my screen and the slides. Hey, everybody seeing the slides? Great. Well, like I said, this is our open rules for cataloging Fall Winter 2025 update. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back. For those of you who are new, welcome. We're so glad that you're here and you can learn about what we've been doing the last year. My name is Amy Hitchner and I work for the Colorado State Library, but in this capacity, I'm the Rules Committee Chair and I also am the Executive Board Secretary. So here's what we're going to be doing today. First, we'll start with a little minor housekeeping. Then we're going to move on to introducing ORC, both the people and the project itself. We're going to learn about what we have done this year, which is an amazing amount for a group of all volunteers. We're going to have a discussion about membership and where we want to go with that, where you want us to go with that. And then finally, we're going to wrap up talking about how to get involved with ORC if you want to go deeper. So let's go ahead and talk about some housekeeping. Pretty general Zoom type rules. Please remain muted unless something, really happens and you want to just like burst forth with joy and tell us how wonderful we are. No, just kidding. Please remain muted and just use the chat for your questions. We'll be monitoring chat, so if anything looks like we need to stop the speaker and talk about that topic, then we'll make that call. But please do put your questions, your comments, your feedback in chat. We are recording this, and we will share the recording afterwards with the ORC general group. So any questions before we dive in? All right, well then I'm going to hand it over to Julie Moore, who is our president.
Hi there, everybody. We wanted to start out with meeting ORC, the open rules for cataloging. This is a little bit for the people who are brand new to ORC. And if anybody wants to brush up on what we're doing here. ORC is an alternative, practical, free, and open set of cataloging rules for the library community with easily understood language and examples created by a team of volunteer catalogers to empower catalogers. And it's designed to describe library resources, promote consistency, facilitate discovery and retrieval. The principles are, we're trying to use common language usage. I'm on the rules committee also. Many times we stop and say, okay, that makes sense to us, but would that make sense to everybody? And accurate resource representation, integration and interoperability, accessibility, and we're also keeping an eye on ethics and the cataloging code of ethics. This is built on legacy, time-honored rules and guidelines from various organizations. These are rules that are freely available for public use. Next slide. So let's meet the people now. On our executive board, Amy, I was wondering if you can flip to our website, actually, the ORC website, so that we can see the people. So we have the executive board. Right now, I'm the president. We have Bobby Boltzmann is the vice president, president-elect. Lloyd Chittenden is the past president. And Amy Hitchner is the secretary, and Denise Sufi is the treasurer. And then in the rules committee, if you go to the committee members, you can see that Lloyd Chittenden is mentioned here. Right now, he's stepped back a little while he's in the uh, I'll call it the presidential series of duties. And we have Sasha Frizzell. Amy Hitzner is the chair of the Rules Committee. Seth Huber, Ann Cardos has she was a chair and then a co-chair, and then she's returning back in January. We're super excited that Ann is coming back. And then Natalie Kasmin, Faye Leibowitz, Kara Long, myself again, Ashley Payton, Sarah Timer, Lauren Wallace, and Lynn Wittenberger. And I just want to thank everybody who is on the Rules Committee. It's a a fun committee, but we also do a lot of work and a lot of discussion. And then we have the tech committee, which makes this beautiful website available. And the people on the tech committee are Denise Sufi and Jennifer Weston. We also have a board of reviewers. So once we have a review process for the rules, and once we get it to where we think it's good, it goes to the board of reviewers. We have on the board of reviewers Francis Alex, Cynthia Azevedo Lorenzo, Bobby Bothman, Diana DiPiero, Nancy George, Michael Gorman, who is my old boss, by the way, Kane Wen Jones, Amanda Mack, Gretchen Neidhart, Sarah Spigner, and Holly Wheeler. And again, we want to thank all of these people. Everybody's doing all of this on a volunteer basis, and it's really, really important work. And they always give us a lot of feedback. We go back and fix things, and then we post it to the whole open rules for cataloging Google group, and then you can look at it and also give us feedback. So we definitely have a process lined up for peer review. Do we want to go to the next slide? So for our 2025 progress, we wanted to cover three main things. The rules, mainly that we're drafting the material description right now. The outreach, which has resumed this year. And we've been kind of going gangbusters on outreach. And then fundraising, where we're continuing to get states registered for fundraising. And the next slide is for Amy.
Okay, so as Julie mentioned, we're currently working on material description. We take the rules in sort of their ISBD groupings. So we've already gone through the process for title, edition, and series. And actually, these are sort of in reverse order of how we did them. We tackled series first, and then edition and title. And after many writing and then many rounds of review, they are on the website, and you can read them there. And you can also give feedback on those rules that are up on the website. Everything's still considered draft. Then we moved on to imprint, and imprint is currently in the review process. I think it is with the executive board to look at right now. And then once we receive feedback and review the feedback from that, then imprint will move on to our board of reviewers. And then, of course, it will come back to the rules committee to then evaluate and go through their feedback. So that's where we are. So we're in material description. We'll probably be there a few more months because it does take quite a bit of time to write these rules, as you might imagine. Um, we'll talk about this at the end, but if you're a person who really likes getting in there and looking at rules like not only sentence by sentence, but phrase by phrase and thinking about big picture while you're doing that, then this might be the group for you. And then the final rule group that we'll be tackling are notes. That doesn't mean we'll be done, however, because we still have lots of supplementary materials that we need to think about and draft, like our introduction and our appendix and our glossary. So there's a lot of other components besides the rules that will need to be addressed. So that's where we are with rules right now. And then I think I'm turning it back to you, Julie.
So the big news this year is that ORC has its own official descriptive convention source code, which is lowercase ORC. And this was announced in the September 25th LC Mark Standards technical notice. And so what does this mean practically? It means that once we have a full set of ORC rules and we are creating records following ORC, we can indicate that we are creating an ORC record in the 040 field, the cataloging source, with the subfield E description convention. And that lets catalogers and systems know that you've got an ORC record here. So the example there is 040 subfield E, and lowercase ORC. And yeah, this was a big deal. We're really, really excited to get that. And as Billy Albina, the founder of ORC, said in an email, dreams really do come true, which I appreciated that. So go ahead. So this year, it's been especially important to resume outreach as we're kind of working our way through the rules. I want it so that by the time we have a set of ORC rules ready to use, there will be a group of catalogers excited about ORC and ready to make use of these rules. I want people to have at least heard about ORC. And the tech committee also has created a media page to document our outreach efforts on the website. And it's kind of like ORC's portfolio with, and it will have photos and slides and recordings. So I would imagine that eventually this update will end up there. Next slide. So for the outreach efforts that we have lined up or that we've done, WolfCon, which is the World Open Library Foundation Conference, was held in Kansas City, Missouri, and this was in September. And Lloyd Chittenden, Seth Huber, and Natalie Kosmine all presented at that conference. And then Lloyd is actually on the conference planning committee for next year's conference. So I have the feeling we'll have an in to be able to present there again. It will be in Prague. Uh, and so Also, we had the California Library Association annual conference at Riverside in October. I gave a poster presentation there. Bobby Boltzmann spoke at the Minitex Technical Services Symposium in November of 2025. Uh, we have coming up the Alaska Library Association annual conference in Sitka, Alaska. The presenters are Lauren Wallace and Kara Long. And of course, having lived in Alaska, I'm always excited when Alaska is being included. And then in May of 2026, we've got Faye Leibowitz and Natalie Kosman, who will be presenting at the Florida Library Association annual conference. And then let's see, in March of 2026, Denise Sufi and Amy Hitchner will be teaching a cataloging course or one day taught by Isabella Schenkel at UNC. They'll be guest speakers. And I know that Sasha Frizzell submitted a presentation for Sunny LA midwinter 2026, and that is February 2026. And then I submitted a poster proposal for ALA in Chicago in June, and I just got the notice a day or so ago that that was accepted. So, and then on top of that, back in April, I know Billy Albina was interviewed and talked about the open rules for cataloging. So we've had a lot going on this year with outreach. And next slide. The next slide, I'm going to hand this over to Lloyd.
Hi. So can you hear me? Okay,
Yes.
good. The work of fundraising falls on the past president and treasurer in our organization, and so we've been working on um, primarily focusing on getting approved to do fundraising in various states. This is something that requires that basically you apply with each state separately. And so there's a lot of paperwork and bureaucratic mess that we've been dealing with, but we've managed to get approved in more than 30 states now. You can see the list there. So we're in pretty good position to start trying to raise funds. Um, so if I get the next slide. But we are in a bit of a difficult position, and we have a kind of a question for the group that we want to put out to the membership because the board isn't sure exactly where to go with this. Oh, if we go back, yeah. Basically, we are in a position where we're worried that we might get sued by ALA. Basically, they are likely to feel threatened by ORC, even though we're not trying to threaten them, but it's very possible that they may lose revenue due to people choosing to use ORC, and they may consider us a threat, and it's possible that they could sue us. And we're not using their text, we're not infringing their copyright, but unfortunately, in the American legal system, if you can't put up a defense, it doesn't matter that you're who's right or wrong. You just lose if you can't afford to get a lawyer into a court. And basically, we're in that position now, where if they did come after us, we would not be able to respond because we just don't have the resources. We looked into getting copyright infringement insurance, and it's quite a bit more expensive than we had anticipated. We figured that, including that, our expenses could well be over 4,000 a year. And we actually have enough money that we could do that right now, thanks to a large donation. But we're not sure we can continue that on a long-term basis without changing the character of the organization in ways that maybe we don't want to. And so we're thinking we want to put this question to the membership in this meeting, and we'll be sending out a survey after the meeting as to, do people think this is a real problem? Is this something, are we just borrowing trouble, or are we, do we actually have something to worry about? And so we'd be interested in input, comments on this. We'd like to ask some questions in a survey in the Zoom, which I think Amy can make happen. There we are. Do people think we should get insurance or not? Should we just continue without insurance and assume, like I said, we're just borrowing trouble here? If we do want to raise money for insurance, how would we want to do that? We could create a membership fee or possibly hire a fundraising service, which would raise money from just the general public. Although they'd probably start with you guys. uh, and if we did have a membership fee, how much would you be willing to pay as a member in order to support this ongoing effort? So if people could go ahead and fill out the survey and get a so we can get an impression of how much of what the membership thinks about this.
And Lloyd, I'm just going to pop in and just make sure that people understand too that while we're talking about membership fees, what we are not proposing is to put the rules behind a paywall. Like
No.
the rules are now and will always be open. So that's important
Yeah.
to remember as we talk about these things.
The rules need to be open. I mean, that's kind of the whole point of the thing, is that the rules would be open. But we also possibly need money. So it is kind of a balancing act. And the next thing we want to discuss after we get results from the poll is if we did have a membership fee, what would people want to get as membership benefits? What would make sense as a membership benefit, since you'd have access to the rules regardless? So I don't know. Are we getting responses? Can you see?
Yeah. We have, let's see, I think it looks like 16 out of 20 have answered, and I think it's slowed way down. So if you want, I can end the poll whenever you want.
I mean, I don't know. You could leave it open if
I
more
think,
people want to.
can you see the results, or is it just me that's,
No,
oh,
I
you
don't
can.
know how to
Okay.
see. I don't see results. I don't know
Okay.
how that works in a Zoom.
I think I have to end the poll for y'all to see
Oh,
the results.
oh, okay.
I think that's
All
how it
right.
works. And then just so everybody knows, these same questions, plus an additional question will go out to general membership after the meeting is over for anybody who wasn't here today can, so that they have a way to give their feedback as well. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll and I'm going to share the results. Hopefully this works. Okay, can you all see that? So it looks like for the first question, 73% said get insurance, and 27% said continue without. For the second question, how should we raise money for insurance and other operating costs? 60% said create a membership fee, 40% said hire a fundraising service. And then if we create an annual membership fee, how much would you be willing to pay to member per member? And pretty evenly divided, 20, 30, and 50 each received 29% of the vote, and 70 received 14% of the vote.
Okay. Well, that is really useful information, and we will send that out to the list, the email list, and try and get more information from the larger group. But I think you guys who chose to join this are probably some of the most involved people. So this information is really useful. Um, can we go on to the next?
Yeah, let me exit out of that.
So then we just wanted to have some discussion about this question. And if people have comments on sort of the whole concept of how to go about fundraising or have other ideas about how to go about fundraising, um, we want to hear from people. And you could go ahead and put in the chat or unmute. And we want to hear what would make sense to see as a membership benefit. I mean, we've been thinking, participating in these webinars, voting for officers, participating on committees might require membership, those sorts of things. So if anyone has anything, go ahead and chime in. I'll shut up for a minute.
I also wanted to say that, we all belong to many different organizations too that might be a little similar to this or kind of have some parallels to this. And, how do you do memberships and what do the memberships, what do you get for those memberships?
It was posted in chat. Colin posted in chat that for DCRMR workshops, they bring along a bunch of laptop stickers, and so something like that, swag or merch, we could create. You get an open rules for cataloging T-shirt, some such for joining the organization. Something like Wikipedia does, let people donate whatever they want. Yes. I mean, people can always donate whatever they want. Let's make that clear. You could all give money right now. But yeah, that is definitely an idea that we could make it a membership and say, okay, you have to donate something, but it can be you set your own amount.
But also with the Wikipedia, um, don't they kind of they'll send you a reminder that, hey, we noticed that you were using this page, and wouldn't it be great if you would like kick in a few bucks here to help us keep it up.
I think actually that's a very good model. Particularly, I mean, once we've got a working thing that people are consulting regularly, it could, pop up with a thing now and then saying, "How about send a few bucks?"
Right.
Fundraising drive on a regular schedule, like public media. Donating could include swag. Yeah, and
I
it's.
I want an
Go ahead.
ORC t-shirt.
Yeah, we need I'm envisioning some sort of a character, a cataloging orc character. Uh,
Is it an orc?
yeah, it would be an orc. It has to be an orc. It has to be an orc cataloger. Um, Holly says having to pay for membership, even for something like access to voting or joining committees, feels like counter to the mission of orc. I understand the need for funds, but paid membership doesn't feel in the spirit of the thing. Yeah, yeah, I understand that. Faye says I agree. And I think this would, if we, such a change would require a change in the bylaws, which would require a vote. This is not something I think the executive board has the power to do on their own. So I think we're trying to get a sense of the membership before we go out. Uh, take any suggested bylaws changes to a vote anywhere.
Well, and what Holly was saying is exactly like what some of our members were expressing on the executive board too. So we're kind of split on this. So I'm glad that you voiced that, Holly.
I mean, we could try, sort of running our own membership drive or our own fundraising drive, um, without hiring somebody. Hiring somebody would make a change to. I mean, a lot of the. I don't know. Some of the states we've gotten permission to raise funds in. We've gotten exemption from their rules based on the fact that we don't pay fundraisers. So we pay fundraisers, then there's, I don't know, 5 to 10 states that then we've got to change our status with them, and then it's a bunch of extra paperwork, and then maybe we have to pay somebody to do that paperwork, and then it just grows. I mean, maybe we could do it on our own, but I don't know if we can raise that much um, without some sort of professional assistance. Well, if there's no other comments on that, we could move on. All right, thank you.
So, thank you, Lloyd. So, the bottom line here that we're asking is that people get involved. We need help in writing the rules with the rules committee. I've been on it for quite a while, and it's a really nice, fun group of people who are also serious about cataloging and making cataloging a better experience for everybody. And it's one of my favorite times is being able to go on and be on the rules committee. And we meet twice a month, and it's just great being able to talk through things with other catalogers. Also, the executive board will be having an opening in 2026 as everybody rotates to their next role. So I'll be then the past president. This will be July 1st. I'll be the past president, and then Bobby will become the president, and then we'll need somebody who will step up to be the vice president, president-elect. And then and then also, like Lloyd was saying, after when we send this out, when we send this recording out, we'll send along the membership survey, and so please send your feedback to the with regard to the future of work, and we really appreciate anything that you can. Help us out with, but we really do need for you to get involved. And next slide. And that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for joining us. And this is the URL and the QR code for ORC. So go take a look at our website. And that's about it. So if anybody has any questions of any of us, please put it in the chat and let us know, or send an email.
Um, Puck asks, would it be worth to look for friendly attorneys ahead of time instead of or in addition to insurance? I think it definitely would be. Um, we would have to be. I think it would have to be an intellectual property attorney. I don't think we want to get just a regular attorney. And I don't. I actually have emailed. I did email one of them a few days ago, just cold, as sort of a consultation. It's a free consultation, so I'm taking their free consultation in email, and we'll see what they come back with. And we could try a few more and see what folks say. I mean, I'm trying to get a sense from them as to whether whether we actually have a problem. Um, that's the first. That's really the first question I have for an attorney. Is this something we should even be worrying about? Um, so yeah, I think that's definitely another thing that people can contribute. If you know an intellectual property attorney, let us know. Um, who might be willing to at least talk to us? That would be terrific. So yeah. Uh, I'm just not sure how to go about finding such a person. There is I found this person on lawyers.com where you can do a search and limit it by type and that sort of thing and location. Kyle Courtney. I don't know Kyle Courtney. Who's Kyle Courtney? Copyright copyright librarian is barred to practice law. Ah, very possibly. Yeah, a copyright librarian at a university is a possibility. Law librarians who might know attorneys, that's a good tactic. Um, if we know any law librarians, um, they might be able to help us find somebody who would be interested.
Oh gosh, I used to work at Stetson Law School. Maybe I need to think about my friends there.
That is not a bad tactic to find um, through a copyright librarian. They might be able to help us find someone who would be particularly friendly and might be willing to at least give us free advice. Um, now earlier, Faye asked whether we should wait until we get sued, which would probably happen soon after we start. Um, I mean, at that point, it would be too late to buy insurance. Um, but and I'm what I'd be worried about is if we can't get some sort of very cheap and qualified assistance, we would have to raise a really large amount of money very fast. Um, like I'm thinking probably $100,000. Oh, buy insurance for 1 year and then see if we get sued. Yeah, I see. I see. That's not a bad strategy. I mean, that's possible. I mean, we could afford that. Buy insurance for 1 year, the year, and make that the year that we're official. Which I don't know if that'll be next. That might not happen in the next year. But if we bought the insurance soon before we go out, um, that's not a bad strategy. That's something to
I like
consider.
that idea.
Of course, they could sue us now. I mean, there's nothing stopping them. But because I mean, their case doesn't actually have merit. That's the point. Their case would not have any merit. It's just based on being able to steamroll us. That's and that could happen anytime. But that's not a bad strategy. Um, okay, any other thoughts? And if any of you guys know these copyright librarians, I'd say go ahead and contact them on our behalf, and get us in touch. And maybe somebody could join a meeting, or send us an email at freeyourcatalogingrules@gmail.com.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay, I think that's about it then, unless anybody has anything else for the good of the order.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.